Mission Boulevard.
What's wrong, ma'am?
We have a woman ran in the lobby, said she's been shot. She's laying on the floor and there's blood.
Okay, remember.
Okay.
Where are you? How old is she?
She looks about 20.
Okay, who saw her? Where? She's in the lobby right now?
Yes, ma'am. She just passed out.
Okay. Still there?
I
already have to call in.
I think you need to send a police unit, too.
It'll go off from you.
Okay.
Somebody can give us some information so we can get the suspect. Okay. You don't know anything else about who might have done it or anything like that?
It's another lady. That's all I know. We're trying to find out.
And that, okay, this lady's about 40 years old?
20.
20. Okay.
Me quieres convencer que eres fiel y eres sincero. Oh, don't turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. But you're the one who tried to hurt me when you're alive. You think I can run? You think I lay down and die? No, no, no. I will survive. Oh, I know how to love. I know I'll stay alive. Controlar. Se emociona, ya no razona y me empieza a cantar. Me canta así, así. Viene pisando, voy a hacer que triciclo y el motor al revés. En la esquina yo esperando, su mente se equivocaba. No me importa, porque eso sí fue por mi parecer, lo más lindo, el más grande amor. Un mensaje es lo que quiero verte hoy. Desde ese momento en que escuché tu voz y cuando al fin estemos juntos los dos, ¿qué importa qué dirán tu padre y tu mamá? Aquí solo importa nuestro amor. Si quiero.
Sad to report that Selena Quintanilla Perez passed away at 2:05 this afternoon.
Hello, I'm Marco de Rios, reporting from Los Angeles. And with me today, from Houston, where he is currently on tour, the Tejano superstar Emilio. We're both going to tell you the tragic story of 24-year-old Selena Quintanilla Perez, a rising Tejano music star whose life was cut short by an assassin's bullet on March 31st, 1995. Not since the murder of John Lennon in 1980 has the music community and a young star's millions of fans around the world been so shaken by another of life's bizarre events. This is the bittersweet story of Selena Quintanilla Perez, known to all of us simply as Selena. Emilio and I will have that story for you in just a moment. Welcome back. Thank you, Emilio, for taking time from your busy Texas touring schedule to be with us today. I understand that you are presently there promoting your new Capitol album, Life is Good, your first crossover album from Tejano to country.
Yeah, we're very excited right now at this time. We're promoting our latest project from Capitol Nashville, Life is Good, and so far we've gotten a good response, and we're glad, and life is good.
Emilio, where does the word Tejano come from? In other words, what does it mean?
Well, Tejano is basically, if you're born and raised in Texas and you have a band and you're a recording artist, you're born in Texas and your roots of your family come from Mexico, Mexicano, then that's Tejano. And that's probably like the hip and the newest title for the new generation that's following the music, Tejano music.
It's somewhat ironic that you're with us today from Houston, the city where Yolanda Saldivar, charged with the murder of Selena, is scheduled to go on trial later this month. The heavy publicity following the death of Selena has caused the trial to be moved from her hometown of Corpus Christi to Houston. According to reports, Emilio, Selena and you both spent several years touring on the same circuit, and as some would say, paying your dues. Some of your dates even followed within days of each other. What was it like climbing up the music ladder?
Well, as you know, Selena was real professional. She was a businesswoman, even at her own age. I mean, we started touring with Selena, or we had gigs. We really didn't tour like for a long streak of time, but we had gigs together for the past 10 years, and I've known Selena since she was 13, and she was as professional then as she was before this tragic. And I just feel that wherever they move the trial, I just want justice to be done, and we miss her tremendously. We had the opportunity to work together, to sing a duet together on her album, which she won a Grammy, and she was a hard worker, and I learned a lot from her. Even at her age, she was on top of everybody in the Tejano music business, and I was just, it's an honor for me to perform with her, to record with her, and I'll always have those memories of her with me.
Thank you, Emilio. I'll be talking to you periodically throughout this broadcast. But right now, let's take a closer look at Selena. As has been the case with so many other tragic celebrities, Selena Quintanilla Perez was taken from us as she hovered on the brink of superstardom. Now one can only speculate as to the heights she would have achieved. In her short 15-year career, Selena cultivated millions of fans who were devoted to the beautiful woman and her special brand of Tejano music. Selena Quintanilla was quickly rising to superstar status. She topped the Latin Billboard music charts and was successfully crossing over into the mainstream American music industry. She was an inspiration to young Hispanic women everywhere, but most of all, Selena touched a lot of people with her music. She made one proud to be Hispanic. She inspired countless numbers to better themselves and the lives of those around them. As long as the story of Selena is told, her spirit will live on.
This is 6 News at 6 with today's top story.
One of the biggest stars in Tejano music, Corpus Christi's Selena, is dead.
The woman suspected of shooting Selena is still holding police at bay. You're looking at a live picture right now coming to you from Navigation, where the standoff continues. She has a gun and has it pointed at her head. It's our top story tonight, Friday, March 31st, 1995.
The shooting happened a little before noon today. She was shot twice in the back. At least one shot severed a major artery. Police say CPR began immediately, but Selena was in critical condition when she left the scene in an ambulance today. She went to the lobby of the Days Inn at Navigation and Interstate 37, saying that she had been shot. Investigators aren't certain where the shooting actually happened, but Selena may have been shot in the parking lot.
Police get a call about a shooting at the Days Inn on Navigation. The woman suspected of pulling the gun and shooting Selena runs to a truck in the parking lot. That's when police, SWAT teams, and negotiators arrive.
Selena was born in Lake Jackson, Texas in 1971. When she was 8 years old, her father, brother, and sister formed a group named Los Dinos, which performed frequently in her father's Corpus Christi restaurant. This is where Selena would first get the opportunity to sing, and they sang Tejano. Tejano music is a fusion of traditional Mexican music, polka, and country tunes. Carmen Miranda is well known for this style. Corpus Christi was somewhat of a mecca for Tejano music, and it was from this geographical region that Selena's influence would be felt. Her ancestors have lived and worked in this southern Texas area for over 100 years, and the beginning of modern-day Tejano music is grounded in their culture.
Con tu querer y tu mirar, despierta niña, la noche ya se va. Con tu querer y tu mirar, despierta niña, la noche ya se va. Mire muchachas que no me argentian, fui tampoco me avergüencía de mi galán. Aunque sea pobre tengo carro viejo, me trata como reina nombre de verdad. Y aunque tenga una carcasa, lo que importa es que voy con él.
In the following interview, made in 1992, Selena reflects on that journey.
Comencé cantando a la edad de 6 y medio y grabé la primera canción de la edad de 8 y viajar y trabajar con el grupo Slim Lucinos a la edad de 9. La música tejana fue un poquito difícil para nosotros porque naturalmente soy mujer. Mi papá tenía muchos problemas de tener shows o presentaciones, porque la razón fue porque hay muchos hombres que no piensan que la mujer puede agarrar a la gente o al público así como en un hombre, pero wrong.
Welcome back. Emilio, did you ever have an opportunity during your tours to actually perform with Selena?
Well, you know, people may not believe this, but we had a lot of gigs together for a lot of years, and she was pretty professional about that stuff, and she liked to rehearse all her gigs. So, and we did too, you know, likewise. So, believe it or not, we never got to sing together. I think we practiced the song one time in Mexico, and we're going to try to fit it into our concert show, but it never happened. It's kind of strange because people would believe that we did sing a song together on our concerts, but it never happened. She was so professional that she had her gig down, and we tried to follow with that and do our own thing and not step into her show. So, believe it or not, we never did sing together.
Tell us, if you would, your happiest memory with Selena.
Well, you know, Selena was a very cheerful person, and she enjoyed people, which is probably why she was so successful. All her fans knew her, and she was just like the girl next door. And I tell you, there wasn't a moment that when we were playing together, that she wasn't joking around backstage, or there was never a sad moment. And I guess our biggest thrill was the Houston Rodeo last year, that we broke the record, and seeing her perform that day, that night, probably one of her latest big shows before her death, was astonishing. I mean, she was on the verge of crossing over at that moment and into the pop, so she did some pop that night, and pop music, and it was just unreal. And I think that's probably the biggest and happiest memory I'll have of her and of myself, and us being together and performing together.
So tell us, Emilio, what was she like to sing with?
Well, it's kind of neat because I knew when we were going to perform together at a concert or at a gig, I knew it was going to be sold out, so it was great. She had quite a following, and they really loved her. And, you know, I respected that. I was, you know, we were both male entertainers. She was female and I was male, and I had no problem with her opening up, with me opening up for her, because I knew that she had a great following. I respected that, and it was just wonderful. I mean, I'm honored that I got to do that with her and gig with her, because there's a lot of artists out there that knew her that didn't have the chance to.
Back in 1980, Tejano music had a very limited audience, popular primarily in parts of Texas, Mexico, Florida, and Puerto Rico. At that point in time, teenage Selena was invited to appear on a musical variety program hosted by Latin personality Johnny Canales. The program was broadcast on fewer than 10 TV stations. Today, the popularity of the Johnny Canales show, due in part to the wide acceptance of Tejano music, finds the program on more than 300 outlets in over 23 countries. Appearing on the program gave Selena the opportunity to meet with many emerging Tejano musicians from all over the country in South America. In 1983, Selena made her recording debut with her first commercially recorded song. The record enjoyed modest but continual sales amongst early Selena fans. As her popularity rose, so did the attendance at her live concerts. For the first time, security was required to protect Selena from the crush of the admiring crowds. At one concert, the throng of fans wanting to get as close as possible to Selena nearly caused the stage to collapse. Spanish-speaking radio stations began switching to the Tejano format, and Selena was fast becoming the most requested singer. Sales of many of her recordings were on the rise, and Selena was clearly the leader in Tejano album sales. In 1986, Selena won the Tejano Music Award for Best Female Vocalist and for Best Performer of the Year. By 1989, Selena had signed an exclusive recording contract with Capital EMI Latin. She became the first Latino recording artist to simultaneously have 5 albums appear on Billboard magazine's list of the top 200 best-selling albums. In May of 1995, Selena held the first 5 positions on Billboard's top 50 Latin albums. As early as 1994, Selena's release of Amor Prohibido firmly established her without any question as the preeminent female star in the United States Latin market. With the success of Amor Prohibido, the powers that be within the Latino music field began plans for a crossover album. Such a release would aim to catch her new English-speaking fans while still retaining Selena's vast Spanish-speaking Tejano following. The album, Dreaming of You, would be comprised of English-language songs, including a duet with David Byrne. The close-knit Quintanilla family lived in modest homes, each only a few yards apart. Selena and her husband Chris in a corner house, her parents directly next door, and her brother Abe on the other side of her parents. Only after grieving fans descended upon the properties did the family reluctantly construct fences to hold them back. During her life, Selena displayed a genuine concern for all people. During her career, she would give freely of her personal and professional time. She gave several free concerts on behalf of the poor and the underprivileged. When performing in paid concerts, there were many instances where all the seats were donated to various charities. Letters continue to arrive at the Quintanilla mailbox from fans, friends, admirers, and various industry associates recalling the recollections of Selena. Fan magazines and record industry publications continue to pay tribute to the Tejano star, and fans still seek out her recordings and memorabilia. The Tejano star was at the top of her craft when she died. The dizzying climb to the top of the music charts had happened in a relatively short expanse of time, at least by recording industry standards. Despite Selena's heavy output of recordings and a busy schedule of entertainment rather than business commitments, she still wanted to raise a family with her husband, Chris Perez. Perez was a musician by trade and worked regularly in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. Selena was performing in San Antonio in 1988 and by chance walked into one of Chris's band's rehearsals. Selena was at once impressed with his musical talents. She persuaded her father to listen to Perez perform, and he too was impressed. A year later, Chris Perez had become a member of Selena's band, and he began to take more than a professional interest in Selena. But owing to his shy persona and the fact that Selena was carefully watched over by her father and various relatives, they had little opportunity to develop any sort of personal relationship. But finally in 1991, over lunch at a Pizza Hut restaurant, Perez was finally given the opportunity to express his feelings to Selena. She listened quietly as Chris explained himself, and to his great surprise, Selena confessed that she had a romantic interest in him as well. Their romance, which began over pizza and soda, led to the wedding altar on April 2nd, 1992. The couple would have celebrated their third wedding anniversary the weekend following her death. Days before Selena's murder, she and Chris decided that they would start a family of their own. Selena was so close to her own family that she could not imagine life without several children of her own to carry on the Tejano traditions. The last night of their life together, Selena cooked Chris his favorite Tejano dish, marinated black fin shark. The time spent over dinner would ultimately become their final moments together. The following morning, Selena was already gone when Chris awoke. She had left on her short trip to meet with Yolanda Saldivar. The next time he would hear of his beloved wife would be on the Channel 6 Corpus Christi News.
When we arrived, we found a victim inside the office area.
What do you believe was the single most valuable thing Selena gave to us, not only in her music, but also to her community?
Well, you know, unfortunately, at such a tragic death, I think, and so young, I believe she has brought to us at this moment the family loving, that we have to stay together, stick together. She was always against drugs and weapons and all violence, all types of violence. So we're learning from that, and unfortunately it's the hard way, you know. But she loved people, and she wanted people to love each other and to enjoy life. I think that's the biggest of her concerns that she had. She hated violence, and everybody does, you know. All the artists that try to get that across. Music is to be happy and to have a good time, and as performers, that's what we try to come across. And I think that's what she really wanted to make a point of.
You may have to help me on this one.
You may have to help me on this one.
It began as a conflict in a room at the Days Inn on Navigation Boulevard. And by the time the two struggling women reached the lobby, Tejano star Selena Quintanilla lay dying on the floor.
When we arrived, we found a victim inside the office area of the motel that had been shot in some other room in the motel.
Police chased the woman suspected of shooting Selena through the parking lot. She ran to this red Chevrolet truck, put a pistol to her head, and threatened suicide.
She has a pistol to her head, and they were concerned that she'll commit suicide.
Determined to prevent further bloodshed, a SWAT team moved in and surrounded the suspect, still holed up in the truck. Intense negotiations began with a special police telephone given to the suspect. A promising young artist and role model's life was cut short before anyone could intervene.
I couldn't believe, but I have faith in God that everything's going to turn out right, but it didn't.
Ramon cries while he listens to Selena's music on his earpiece. Others can't say why they showed up here. They just wanted to be close to Selena and her family.
We're just stunned just to hear about her, and now that we found out that she's dead, it's like we can't believe it because she had a lot of talent. You know, she was young.
I live a block away from her. You know, it's just sad.
And as the crowd grows, police are called in to help with traffic control.
Selena's husband, Chris, has had a difficult time coping with Selena's death. At first, he seldom ventured outside of their home. The restless widower had difficulty sleeping, and pass the time practicing his guitar. The curtains are drawn tightly closed in the Perez home. Whenever he looks outside, he is newly reminded of this tragedy. An unending pilgrimage of fans continue to pay their respects, affixing mementos and photos to the fences and scrawling messages on the sidewalks. Selena appeared in only one film, Don Juan de Marco, in 1994. Industry insiders who saw Selena instantly recognized her natural acting ability. Before long, Selena was sought out to provide endorsements for several major products.
If you're like me, you want beautiful hair with lots of body. That's why I use the Grease shampoo. Otro hotel, otra ciudad. Cuando estoy en gira, me alejo de mi casa por mucho tiempo. Por eso tengo callers para recibir mis mensajes.
Selena had entered into a contract with the Depp Corporation to endorse their long line of hair care products. And, additionally, she was embarking upon a series of television commercials for AT&T and Southwestern Bell phone companies. However, her most exciting promotional campaign was to have been for Coca-Cola. After years of struggle, Selena and her family were concerned with the bottom line of their business endeavors. While Selena was more generous than most with donations to various causes and charities, there was still the future of her immediate family to consider. In 1994, the Quintanilla family opened a combination beauty parlor and fashion boutique named Selena Etc. in Corpus Christi. A second outlet was opened in San Antonio in early 1995. Her boutiques featured Selena's own designs for clothing and jewelry. Selena and her family took an active part in the day-to-day operation of Selena Etc. shops. When the singer was away from the recording studio and the concert stage, her energies would focus on the two boutiques. Following her death, the shops began to do a landslide business. The number of weekly customers rose to nearly 1,000 per week. To many of her younger female fans, Selena had become a role model. She was determined to show her fans that hard work, discipline, and responsibility are virtuous qualities that everyone should live by.
It's great to have everybody, especially Hispanics, getting back to their roots and listening to Spanish music. And it's a start to start getting back to learning the language. That's how I learned it, literally, because I actually learned English before I learned Spanish. I know that's sad to say, but...
Well, you know, we're very honored as... I call myself a pocho. I'm honored. You've won Grammys. You've won Premio Lo Nuestro. How does it feel to receive so many recognitions?
It is great. You know, I never expect anything, and I think that's even better when you receive something. It's great. It's great. It's something, like I said, you can't explain. It's great. It's a great feeling.
I'd like you to direct some words for our youth, our young people. Hispanics have such a problem. We have the highest teenage pregnancy. We have the highest abuse of drugs, alcohol. What words would you direct to our young people to better themselves?
I would say, and these times it's very hard to stay away from things like that. You just have to be very strong-minded, be very positive, and always think that the impossible is possible. And, I mean, there's so many... como si la anécdota que puedo decir, you know, if you continue with your life without drugs, you'll get a lot further in life. So, that's basically what I like to say.
Well, how did your discipline start?
My discipline has started in the home, and I think that's where a lot of discipline should start. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of children out there that don't have the discipline of their parents for somewhat or other reason. but I was very fortunate to have the discipline of my parents and have them raise me with standards.
What can... You and Selena are unquestioningly the top performers in the Tejano music industry today. However, your styles are completely different. How would you compare the two?
Well, you know, Tejano music is a beautiful type of music, and the good thing about Tejano music is that it has a lot of different styles. Being from Texas and touring a lot of dance halls and ballrooms, you've got to play country, you've got to play pop, you've got to play rock and traditional Tejano music. So we've been fortunate, you know, and that's why, you know, the crossover for Selena wasn't that difficult. I mean, it was just a natural. I hope mine comes across the same way. But that's why. It's because being from Texas and being so central and playing at dance halls, you have to play quite a variety. And I think her style was more the cumbia, the salsa, the international style, and I was more the traditional bajo sexto accordion kind of country polka style. So it was quite a difference. However, we could probably do blend it together and have quite a show. That's why a lot of these rodeos and big shows had asked for us to play together, start touring together, and it's quite a shame because we were doing pretty well with the crowds and stuff with our shows, and I'm going to miss her tremendously, and we just got to look forward and pray for their family and do our best that we can now that she's gone.
During this hectic time of juggling interviews, recordings, concerts, endorsements, and operating the boutique, Selena's father, Abraham, was approached by a woman named Yolanda Saldivar. Through a repetition of letters and phone calls, Saldivar convinced the Quintanilla family that she was Selena's greatest fan. Eventually, Saldivar won the family's confidence. At first, she was given permission to head up Selena's fan club. Shortly afterwards, she became a personal assistant of sorts. And finally, she gained such confidence of the Quintanilla family that she was named manager of both the Corpus Christi and San Antonio, Texas boutiques. Shortly after Saldivar was given authority to sign checks and handle some banking functions for Selena's fan club and shops, problems began to arise. Letters of complaints began to arrive addressed directly to Abraham Quintanilla's record production company. Fans who sent checks for $20 to Selena's fan club never received the promised photos and memorabilia offered to club members. Other financial discrepancies were uncovered, and various financial statements and receipts were missing. When finally confronted with the evidence at hand, Saldivar allegedly took certain financial records to Monterrey, Mexico. Following negotiations via telephone, Saldivar agreed to return disputed documents in her possession to Selena. A meeting was scheduled to take place in a room Saldivar had taken at a Corpus Christi Days Inn motel. On March 30th, Yolanda met with Selena and Chris at her room in the Days Inn motel. The couple failed to retrieve all the documents. Perhaps to put Yolanda at ease, Selena would try again, this time alone, the next day. It was raining when Selena pulled into the parking lot at the Days Inn on March 31st, 1995. After sitting in her car for a few moments reflecting on the situation, Selena made her way to room 158. Yolanda Saldivar reportedly now found herself in a desperate situation. Police would later say that she had purchased a .38 caliber handgun 2 weeks earlier. Saldivar apparently knew that there was a strong possibility that she could face a jail sentence if charges were brought against her by the Quintanilla family. Her obsession with Selena had taken her to the breaking point. Allegedly, she drew the .38 caliber handgun and pointed it at Selena. A Days Inn maid witnessed a screaming Selena running along the motel's walkway and claims the short, stocky Saldivar was in pursuit. The maid lost sight of the woman and a shot was heard. A bullet lodged deep in Selena's right shoulder as she made her way past the motel swimming pool area in a bid to reach help in the lobby of the motel. Selena reached the motel lobby and pleaded for help. A 911 emergency call was placed and Selena fell into unconsciousness. As the drama unfolded, a crazed Yolanda Saldivar reportedly got into her new red pickup and began to circle the motel. Paramedics arrived on the scene and rushed Selena to the emergency room of nearby Memorial Medical Center. Doctors quickly determined that a major artery had been severed. Selena could not survive the massive loss of blood. She was officially pronounced dead at 1:05 p.m. A gold ring encrusted with diamonds was discovered clutched in Selena's hand. A gift to Selena allegedly from Saldivar, apparently purchased with funds embezzled by Saldivar, a final insult to Selena's trust and faith in the woman.
Special you are watching will air on more than 100 television stations around the country and contains news footage provided to the producers of the program by 6 News. Channel 6 has donated the proceeds from the sale of the news footage to Del Mar College for a scholarship in Selena's memory. News anchor Dot Pedersen and news director Perry Box made the presentation to Del Mar President Terry DeCiana.
We're very proud to present this to Del Mar College in memory of Selena Quintanilla Perez. We think it's very appropriate. This is a $3,000 scholarship, and we hope that it will help a student to continue with their education. We know that that was very important to what Selena did with her life. We know it was a goal of hers. We hope that this will help accomplish that for a student here in South Texas.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of Del Mar College, it's a pleasure to receive the scholarship in the name of Selena from Channel 6. Thank you.
We're 6, proud of South Texas.
You're looking at live pictures. A steady stream of mourners pay last respects tonight to Tejano music star Selena.
Selena Quintanilla Perez, dead at the age of 23. Police arrested a woman suspected of gunning her down today at a Northwest Side motel.
And grabbed her. They rushed in the front of the white pickup, grabbed her. She's on the ground. They're standing over. They pushed her down on the ground. They've called for all the officers. All the officers have their pistols and stuff drawn.
The woman believed responsible for the fatal shooting was taken into custody. You saw it live here on Channel 6. Sonia, what's the latest out there?
Well, as you just said, Mark, the standoff ended after 10 hours of very intense negotiations. The suspect, Yolanda Saldivar, came out of the truck. The police officers used the door to bump her. They pushed her down to the ground. They jumped on top of her and restrained her. She did not have a weapon at that time, which is how they were able to do that. We were watching it from across the street. We also had a lot of information from one of the guests that was inside the hotel who described everything play by play. He said that she was extremely emotionally fatigued. And when I asked the assistant police chief what it was that actually helped get her out in the end, he said she just plain got tired.
Selena's body lay in state at Corpus Christi's Bayfront Plaza Convention Center. This memorial service was held on behalf of Selena's fans and admirers. Thousands of mourners filed past the closed coffin, and as with the death of other icons, notably James Dean and Jim Morrison, rumors began to circulate that Selena was not in the closed coffin, but alive, secreted away in some private hospital. Such a controversy arose surrounding this rumor that Father Abraham ordered that the coffin be opened, thus ending the rumors. Selena wore the same purple gown she had worn when she received one of her many awards. Some estimate that over 30,000 teary-eyed mourners filed past the coffin. The following day, April 3rd, a private ceremony was held for the Quintanilla family members and close friends and associates, who each reverently placed a white rose on top of Selena's coffin as they passed by and whispered their final goodbyes. Overhead, helicopters recorded the scene below for broadcast to the still-stunned legions of Selena fans. As the funeral took place, hundreds of religious ceremonies took place concurrently throughout the world. Candlelight vigils were organized nightly in parks and public gatherings. Overnight, the face of Corpus Christi changed as the press corps and news teams flooded into the city. In the days to come, dozens of national magazines, newspapers, radio and TV news programs would feature stories on the death of Selena.
I think about Selena, that it was a great loss. She's more popular now than she ever was. I think her crossover would have made a big splash. Yeah. Somewhere, somehow, I'm sure she knows all their #1 records.
Selena's music was good. It was great. I heard a lot of her albums.
We miss her as much as her family too, and she was a great person. Her music was really good. All of her, it was really good, and we really miss her a lot.
This is before I was recording con Manny.
Antes.
Sí, and yo creo que era en Victoria. And there was a little bit of people porque, Selena was still, pretty much, sí, apenas. And we were in the hotel room, and era nomás yo, Selena, y su mamá, Marcela. And we were on the I was laying on the bed, and she was laying on her bed with her mom, and we were watching TV. She got up and started hitting me with a pillow. I mean, just hitting me with a pillow, and I was like, "Stop it, Selena! Stop it, Selena!" And she'd hit me again, and she'd be laughing and laughing. I'd be, "Selena," and her mom would be laughing, and I just got up and we started hitting each other with the pillows. I mean, all over the room, like little kids going, niñas. I mean, just hitting each other and jumping from bed to bed, and her mom was just laying there, like, letting us be, But her mom once told my mom that it made her feel good that she had a friend like me because she could be herself. She could be her age with me. She never had to pretend with me. She just, I loved her for who she was and not for what she did. And I hope that all of us out there don't feel like she owes us anything, because she doesn't. She gave her all to La Música Tejana. And to me, it's an honor to have somebody like that.
I think she was a very beautiful girl, very talented. Her voice was just magnificent.
Said you son you a flower, and that's what you are, a flower. Sorry. God bless you. I love you. I miss you, Selena.
Easter Sunday, 1995. A date which would have heralded Selena's birthday. But this day had become a solemn occasion of sorts, as the governor of Texas declared this date Selena Day. A proclamation was read into the state's official register. The government recalled Selena's many accomplishments, her numerous music accolades, her untiring work for charities, her unselfish efforts to better the lives of her fellow man. We were all diminished by the death of Selena. Her assassin cheated countless numbers of future fans of an unparalleled experience. Selena died too young, well before her time. And while her unrealized potential will be debated longly and loudly, the sad, undiluted truth continues to haunt us. Selena is lost to the ages, and what may have been will never be realized. Before we leave, are there any parting words you would like to say to Selena, if you could?
Sure, Selena, we miss you, but you're here with us, heart and soul, forever, and your music will never die.
Emilio, you have the last word. I'm Marco Del Rios. Thank you for watching.
Que venía pitando con ese chiquillo motor al revés. En la China estuvo inspirando, como siempre su novia bien. Sus amigas se están borrando por pura cosas Garganta, paso a pasito, no me quedes tan malear. Garganta, poco a poquito, no vayas a dejar. Garganta, paso a pasito, no me quedes tan malear. Garganta, poco a poquito, no vayas a dejar. Y tampoco me avergüenzo de mi galán. Aunque sea pobre tengo carro viejo, me trata como reina, nombre de verdad. Y aunque tenga una carcasa, que voy con él. Tampoco será el más guapo, pero sí es mi novio. Carcacha, paso pasito, no me quedes tan marear. Carcacha, poco a poquito, no nos vayas a dejar. Carcacha, paso pasito, no me quedes tan marear. Carcacha, poco a poquito.